We're talking about the Bahamas.
Okay, we got these four gentlemen here. We got Adrien, we got Terry, we got Troy, we got Roger. I'm a judge, I'm Sky, okay, and that's easy in the corner. He's also a judge, all right? So each of these guys is gonna make one drink. So Adrien is doing the classic pina colada, which is just white rum, pineapple juice, cream of coconut, okay? And what kind of mix he does, they're totally up there. I'm not adding some other stuff, I don't know, okay? I'm new. All right, then I got Terry here. He's gonna do the Bahamian Mama, that's a classic, okay? So the way he's gonna do that, he's gonna use white rum, he's gonna use gold rum, grenadine, pineapple juice, and then hit it with some orange juice.
Good luck.
Okay?
Yes.
Then we got Troy, he's doing the Bahama Papa. Okay? And we can use white rum, gold rum, orange juice, grapefruit juice,
Sunny D.
Sunny D, which isn't really orange juice, but just so you all know.
Black folks orange juice.
But if you call that orange juice, you could get sued. All right? And then we got Troy there. No, we got Roger. Roger's gonna do the classic Sky juice.
The toughest one.
Okay? Which is super easy because it's
Super easy.
It's just gin. It's just gin, condensed milk, and coconut water. Okay, and he's using coconut water from the can, which I don't recommend. But hey, this
Don't forget my cinnamon.
Oh, he put nutmeg and cinnamon on it. I think you can do that too.
Okay, welcome to another episode of A'Lotta Racket, where we do create a lot of racket. We're not talking tennis rackets either, okay? We're our hosts, myself, Roger Slinger Smith, Coach Slinger. On my far left, Terry T-dawg Davis. Next to Terry is Coach Victory Troy Collins. And Victory because he always got to win. You know how that goes. You know. To his right, my son, Easy Errol Smith. Gotcha. What a host, man. I mean, what a great cast. I love working with you guys. It's been real, and that's what I love with you guys. You know, we created this because whenever we get together, we share so much love. We go to restaurants, we go to the bar, whatsoever, and I just said, look, man, you know, we leave there feeling so good with the world because it's always a learning experience. And our goal is to have someone somewhere just connect with what the message we're sending. And if we can connect with one person to help them with whatever they're going through, and trust me, people always go through stuff, we've succeeded. And there's no better cast than my support team here and myself to do this. Huh?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Anyway, we have honest conversations about life experiences, especially on our journey to the professional ATP tennis tour. And where we bring experts in the sports and entertainment world to talk about what it takes not only to be champions, but also to be champions both on and off the court. Okay? In each episode, we have new focus topics on bringing on acclimate guests, as we do here today, and I'll introduce them in a minute, to share their expertise and insights on developing top young athletes and achieving success in sports and in life, which is just, and you know, another thing is that comes to mind with health going on right now and mental health situations, this is what we do. So just follow us, live with us, and you'll get something out of this. So here we go. Today's episode, we're talking about the Bahamas, my hometown. We're talking about our 50th year of independence. It's such an accolade for us, trust me. For where we came from, you know, and I was gonna say this later, guys, but first we had the Lucayans, the Indians, you know, and actually the Spanish came into it, and then the British came in, and then we got our independence. And we really just moved taken great strides since then. And this is why I brought on my guests. These two gentlemen I'm about to introduce go way back, you know, and we're going to talk about their journey, our journey, on why we moved to the United States. We didn't just move to the United States, we went worldwide, you know, we went all over the place, you know, England, wherever, and our journey is very, very exciting. And it's very, very, it can hit anybody. We have some renown now, and I'm so privileged to have you guys. On my far right, we have Dr. Adrien Lunn.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And Dr. Adrien Lunn is going to be very modest as we go through this, as he always is. But he's just a man, look, he's reached and touched so many worldwide. He's a genius. This guy is so smart. I mean, you're talking about a Yale med school graduate. You're talking about someone that took on research at UCLA in gastrology for so many years. And now he just does all the gastrology on his own. And really because he just doesn't want to spend $1 million. You know? He doesn't care about money, basically. He wants to work 3, 4, 5 days a week and just get it out there. And that's it. But like most people, yeah, money doesn't matter sometimes to us. But Coach Adrien. And by the way, he was an excellent tennis player. We grew up together. Okay? Nobody knows this, but we won the Bahamas National 12 numbers in doubles, where Adrien carried me.
No.
Hey,
Well, how'd it go down? What happened? Okay,
we won the.
You got a background on that?
Yeah.
You got a background story on that? What's the background?
You know back then, they go back to the mom.
I used to kick my ass in.
But anyway, a great guy, doctor, unbelievable.
Thanks for having me.
On my right, on Adrien's left, this man needs no introduction. How the hell do you introduce someone with not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not even 5, almost 6 million followers?
Yes, sir. Oh, like that?
On Instagram.
Yes, sir.
It's popping. How do you introduce someone like that? They know you better than I can even introduce you, man.
He's got the right medicine.
That's it.
The doctor of mixology.
This man, Sky John. How the hell do you get 6 million? First of all, how long did it take you to build it up?
6 million?
Yeah.
I don't have 6 million. I think I have 6.7.
Oh! You grew since last night.
Correct, Roger.
That's
Put some respect.
Roger,
Put some respect on his name. Roger, get your size.
I wasn't bragging. I was just saying.
Put some respect on his name.
7 million.
Yeah, you
Oh,
rounded
man,
off to 7.
Put some respect. Round it off to 7.
30 million on Facebook.
Y'all got it.
Go, baby. Let's go.
Well, I got you all, buddy.
Wow.
So Adrien hit them with a bunch of rum, if you want to notice that.
Y'all don't know what
Troy's going there with coconut water, a ton.
Yes, sir.
Then I see Roger down there killing it with the condensed milk. I wouldn't personally use that much, but you know, it's a free country.
Just a little bit.
Oh Lord, look how much
Just a little bit.
Adrien that. Okay,
Let's go.
Okay, but none of y'all look confident though.
I'm confident. I'm rolling. I'm waiting.
They're pouring heavy, they're pouring heavy. Okay, so, I mean, this goes back. I moved here to get into acting, right? So I started in stand-up comedy. Started doing the acting thing, and then casting directors would be like, hey, where you from? When they ask me where I'm from, I know I get in the part because the Bahamian was too strong. So then, YouTube's new, so I jump on YouTube. Okay, that way I can talk the way I want. Because it was a process for me to get there, but I jump on YouTube, talk the way I want. And so started on YouTube, then later on Facebook came along, jump on Facebook, then Twitter, and then, you know, Instagram and TikTok, they all followed. It's just maybe like I got where I am because I started early. It wasn't, there was competition, but not like now. When I started YouTube, I would literally need to explain to everyone in this room what YouTube was, because no one knew, you know. So So that's how kind of took off for me.
Wow.
And then when I started on YouTube, I was doing the street interviews, stuff like that. It wasn't really working out.
And that's where I first saw it.
Right, right. I did.
Interviewing prostitutes in Germany.
He's joking. That's actually
See how you build it up. Prostitutes and drug dealers.
no. So whatever I do is try to find interesting stories, right? And so, I was in Germany and there was this, I guess, prostitution legal there. So there was these girls on the street. So I saw one of them, I was like, hey, you mind if I interview you? And she was like, okay. And so I dashed back to the hotel, grabbed a camera, put it on a tripod, because it's just me, microphone, and like that kind of took off, you see? And so it started like that. But at this time, YouTube's not interested in that kind of content. Like our conversation ain't necessarily sexual, because I wanted to humanize girls like that more. So I'd ask you, like, when you're doing the date, do you walk the dog? Do you go to like regular stuff a guy wouldn't ask? Because mostly a guy want to know, like, how much, how often, stuff like that. I asked some of those questions, but it's more like getting to know them. And as a result of that, the show took off, and I had a million dudes message me, asking me where she was. Like, hey, which street was she on? Where? Like, how much this can cost?
What?
Yeah, like so many
Did you
dudes.
get that?
No! From all over the world, you know, you know, like, hey, I'm speaking English.
Wait. You were advertising. You were advertising. You were the man.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I definitely did promote it that way, I guess. But yeah, so I was doing stuff like that, but YouTube wasn't a fan of that kind of content, because when they first started, right, this new, so they definitely go more family oriented. And so dudes like me started getting warnings, like, hey, we can delete the page, we can do this. Like right now, my content would have been tame in today's world, but back then, that was edgy. And so as a result of that, I was a bartender, and I'm like, man, just let me bartend, because it's simple, you know? And so I did that. Although bartending ain't really simple, because bartending have a lot of rules and regulations, and this platform doesn't like alcohol and that, because the internet is a lot of kids, you see? So depending on the platform, they kind of touch about alcohol. So if I had to do over, I ain't sure I got it in bartending.
Really?
No, I might go a different route. Bartending complicated, man.
Wow.
But the prostitution was great, right?
I can make it once a girl was open to talking about it, because a lot of them don't like to talk about it. But like I did it in Germany, I did it in Thailand. In Thailand, I was in some dark alley with two lady boys.
What? Lady boys?
Yeah, it was like, I mean, that's the thing. Whenever I travel, there's the backpack places.
Yeah.
And so if I stumble on some interesting stuff, I grab the camera and I ask him questions, you know. And so she was telling me the story, like, firstly, you would not know that she was once a boy, okay? That's number one. And she was
Wait. Let me ask you a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Hold on. Were you confused?
I knew
No,
something.
hesitation. Wait, come on, man. You know, you figured that was girl from the beginning.
I live in LA though, so it's different. I train here, okay?
Yeah.
Like this is the training ground, like we know.
Right.
Okay, because once you live in LA, like you know when you look, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I saw her, she was with two other girls, and one of them was not as subtle as the other ones. So I was able to tell that something was up. And then we started talking, and she told me she had a boyfriend who was from Germany or something, and he didn't know because she had the full surgery.
Oh.
And so they were going through customs, and the customs officer was transphobic or homophobic or whatever, and he grabbed the passport, and she saw that in a Thai passport that it had a sex as man, and then he's like, oh, you're a man, to make sure that the guy heard.
Oh.
And then the guy was like, what? And the guy burst out crying in the airport, because he didn't know. But eventually they were able to work that out and stay together. And he was, I guess the dude was also comfortable with her doing her street thing as well, you see.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I got news. I think I would have cried. Dude. I think I would have cried.
Let me ask you a question. You know, as well as interviewing prostitutes, I mean, I know.
How do you interested in that?
Wait. No, it's serious. No, but I figured they want to talk to somebody. And you gave them a chance to really speak to somebody without somebody disrespecting them.
Yeah, I mean,
Or you totally were respectful?
yeah, I didn't do too much. I did like maybe like 3 or 4 of those kinds of interviews. So they were cool, but most girls obviously in that line of work are not gonna want to talk on camera.
Right.
So that's really tough. You can't make a career out of it.
Yeah.
You probably could now, because with the birth of OnlyFans, like the whole sex world changed, you know? Like, I'm sure y'all look like I spend a lot of time on OnlyFans.
I know nothing about it. I don't see nobody across the way and think that's somebody else. Because I know what I got in the house. I'm not looking down the street.
At this stage in your life, it is.
Wait, hey,
Are you gonna be walking out in New York?
wait, hey, why you gotta tell me? Let's get back to you, man. What's wrong with you, man? Look, that's another podcast.
Victory, Troy. What you think, man?
Yeah.
About this story? It's amazing. I mean, it's different.
I'm a little confused.
Which one, Troy? Which one?
He said FanDuel? I don't get it.
Don't worry about it.
So how many views did you get on those? Did his views come from
Millions.
views with those 4 prostitutes?
That's how it started.
Yeah, it started. So the one in Germany was pretty big. You know, I think that
You speak German?
No, I don't. Her English was broken, but it was cool. We did sit from
No, we've been to München and they have red light districts, so that's pretty interesting. I think the last time we might maybe in 88, 89, 90. It's a very well developed country, you know, very clean, Germany, and the system it works. You know, that in Europe, the red light district thing, it works. We should indoctrinate that over here. First of all, for safety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and also in Thailand, when you go to Thailand, they all are tested and have government, you know, they have to walk with their government card that lets them know if they are HIV positive or if they're, so it's a curse to be beautiful in Indonesia and Thailand. You know, that's the saying, it's a curse to be beautiful because it's indoctrinated basically into their, you know, culture and government. So, but, you know, here's a shout out to women's rights and sex trafficking all over the world. We take that seriously. I don't think that's something that, being a father of daughters, you know, and I speak for all of us men here, so let's take a serious note. Sex trafficking is very real throughout the world, and we're just going to have to do a better job at protecting our female citizens globally. And that's kind of like my take on that right there.
Very well said,
Amen.
So, and a shout out to all of the people that work with our mentally ill that are on the streets and being taken advantage of. And, you know, I just think we have to evolve as a race of people and start, when you talk about equality, you know, we have to put our women and children at the forefront globally. So, but anyway, you know, that's kind of my take on it. Roger and I traveled the world. If you give me 2 minutes, one of the first things we saw was we went to go out and eat, and this lady offered her daughter to us, and her daughter was only 15 years old.
Oh, wow.
And I kind of, you know, Roger had to restrain me. I was quite upset with that, you know. And, but we're just gonna have to do a better job, you know. You know, popular thing that's going around is guys, you know, traveling around the world, and you know, and it goes deeper than that. So we as men are just gonna have to step up and promote the safety and care of our mentally ill and our women and children. So, all right, that's my take on that.
That's great.
Well said, Troy.
That's good. That's great. And so you got there, and then you traveled.
Got there where? You mean like
You went around.
Yeah, I mean, I used to backpack, and so whenever I backpack, I just make little videos and stuff. But I was doing videos here in LA too, the interview stuff. Just trying to figure out like what would work. Because in the early days of the internet, there was no money really. So we're making videos for the sake of making videos, you know? There's no, influencer isn't a term. No one knows what these sites are. Like I say, you have to explain to everyone what this is, you know? Like today's world, if someone comes and they say an influencer, that makes sense. But back then, if you even said that, none of us knew what that word meant. And, you know, so from there, just doing it over the years, eventually, everything kind of flowed into me being where I am now in terms of Tipsy Bartender. But I started, like I said, like I was on the internet since like 2007, 2008. So I'm a grandfather in the industry.
That's when YouTube started.
And so, where you're at now, you make money from it.
Yeah, I mean, you could make money from it. Like I said, with alcohol though, if I had chosen a different path, I mean, who knows if it would have been successful. But I'm just saying, let's say I had the same success in another industry, this would be a whole lot different. It would be a lot more money, because alcohol is everywhere. So a lot of videos that I post might not be monetized in terms of, you know, like how they pay influencers sometimes, views and stuff, depending, you know, like, and then like, sometimes if I have a video that's going viral, the website, you know, Facebook, YouTube, you know, might kill the growth just because of, you know, I'm making a giant drink in a tub or something like that. Like, I mean, you want that being the top video on the site, so to speak, you know? So it depends. It depends on how I use it. So I have to be really careful how I use it. And even more out of that, I don't really drink, you know? I drink like once or twice a year.
I got a liability question for you. How does that work? Are you liable? Like, you know, first of all, I watch you on the shorts.
Yeah. You do shorts. Yeah.
And you get to doing all this fabulous stuff, and it reminds me of college, you know, because that's kind of, you know, jungle juice. Like you did it in college, right? And but what about the liability? If someone drinks that and then gets sick and says, "Well, I got the idea from you or the ingredients from you,"
okay. Because I'm not a bar. And then one of the things that differentiates me from pretty much every bartender online is you can hear me say, you know, drink responsibly, don't drink and drive. I say both. Most people just go, don't drink and drive, or drink responsibly. I say both, like every freaking video.
Right.
One of the reasons for that is to avoid cases like that, but also the kind of drinks I make put me in competition, so to speak, with other bartenders. Okay, so going a little deep into bartending now. You have your typical dive bartender, right? Who the bar down the street, you walk in, give me a Jack and Coke, you know, give me a beer, something like that. Then you have what's called mixology. These are dudes who, if you make a steak or something, they can make a drink to match it using some really creative ingredients. And I mean, they're the real masters of alcohol. If you ask them like about some whiskey, they can tell you when year it was made, who was this, like those kinds of guys, okay? So that's the other side. So then you have me out here mixing shit in the bathtub or toilet bowl. And then getting a lot more views, right? Than the actual masters. Which therefore puts me in kind of a little bit of conflict where, you know, and then on top of that, I got greedy and I was like, man, you know what? I need to get a couple of these guys on the show and then kind of create a line of maybe like a show around that. And I did that, but that put me even under more pressure because a lot of dudes were like, oh my God, now he's really in our backyard, you see? So as a result of that, like the attacks from that side start increasing exponentially. So I kind of move away from the mixology thing completely, and I, you know, make sure that I always stress, like, drink responsibly, don't drink and drive. Not even because of that. Like I was doing don't drink and drive even before that, just to make sure I keep the videos as legal as possible. But a bar definitely becomes liable if they overserve you and you drive out and crash.
Right.
You know, and the bartender is liable because even even if, let's say an underage person walks into a bar, there's a security guard at the door who checks the ID. The person goes in, the bartender pours him a drink. The bartender is still responsible because the security guard can get fired, but he's not going to court. That's really on the bartender because he's the person pouring the alcohol. Yeah.
Like,
Can I go back to the prostitution? You know, Figueroa is right down the street. And I think if you interviewed those prostitutes, I don't think you would have been able to interview them because, you know, they got pimps.
Well,
You know, the pimps want to keep that away from them, you know?
Okay, but see, the world has changed a little bit. So
Right.
there's a channel called Software Underbelly on YouTube.
What?
And it's this guy who goes on Skid Row and he interviews pimps, the prostitutes, everything. They show their faces, they tell their story. Yeah, he really in deep. But I mean, that took years to gain that kind of access though.
Right.
Because I mean, some of the dudes that he's surrounded with, I mean, like these, like there's one or two real killers in there, you know, like these really legit dudes. So, but he makes it work. But like I said, that took years of access. And then again, like, let's say I had gone that path, a lot of his videos still fly because you asking someone who's on the streets how they got there, and that's always gonna be a really complicated, messy story because. You know, you see the woman on the street do it. Like, you could pretty much figure out that something happened in childhood and teen years and to put you in a situation. So he does that, and the videos, they lose monetization. And obviously, like, I mean, you know, McDonald's ain't sponsoring that video. You get what I'm saying? So it's tough. So I know a lot of the stuff he does probably based on donations and the fan support and stuff like that. You know.
Let me ask one more question. So. It's interesting.
We see what these two guys' passion is, don't we?
No, because here's the thing is, as well as interviewing them and being able to talk about their story, have you ever interviewed someone that you feel such compassion for?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people you try to talk to, you try to treat them more as friends and relate to their story. But I didn't have. I mean, like I said, I did the interview thing not too long, so I didn't get into a lot of really brutal stories that were bad. And we kept it more superficial, really, than diving in deep to find out, you know, like, you was 13 and the stepdad did this, and then you end up on the streets, you know. I stayed away from that, kept it light, kept it simple, and just kept it comfortable more as like with friends. That was my interview. I didn't really go in deep dive, like do a Dr. Phil Oprah type stuff. How you doing, Adrien?
Not bad.
Okay. This how this going along. This could be sweet. This one's gonna be very, very sweet.
How much time we got?
but it tastes so good.
Oh,
I don't need nothing else.
So he turned this into shorts. That's a unique twist on this.
Yours looking pretty fine. Yours looking pretty fine. Yours looking kind of fine. Yours looking kind of fine.
You gotta wait.
I gotta wait. I
I mean, you can go ahead and drink.
I can taste it.
You can taste the
What's
recipe.
going on over there, bro? Come on.
Too much grapefruit.
You looking like you struggling but Adrien ready. Look, Adrien ready. The sensei, look, he been training just to let y'all know he coming heavy.
Don't put your hand on it.
Give me the thing. Yeah, come on, give me. Get out the way, then you. Come out the way, Troy. I'm not gonna help you with
That's an ice fight. That's an ice fight.
Go.
How much time we have?
Must say, these are really impressive looking drinks.
Hey,
30?
along the way to your success, you had to come through some kind of obstacle. Everyone goes through some obstacles.
I mean, the internet is obstacles every day.
Can you think of one
You can think of 100, but go on.
one that really stands out? And the second part of this is, what kind of advice would you give to the younger ones that are starting to get onto the internet scene, that wants to be really successful?
Okay, but with the internet, the thing that can stand out most is, all right, when you make videos, YouTube, Facebook, even TikTok to the extent, they have monetization systems set up, right? Where they give you a couple of dollars for the videos, depending on how many views it gets and all that, and that fluctuates wildly. Okay, so like, in the Facebook days, I was heavily focused on Facebook. And then all of a sudden, Facebook wakes up one day and they're like, hey, okay, we're changing the algorithm, right? Because we live by algorithms. And with this new algorithm, none of us would be able to make the same money that we made before, right? Actually, all of our income would go to zero automatically. So they told us of this in January, and in March they put it in place. So everyone who was making Facebook videos at that time, their income automatically went to zero overnight.
Wow.
All right, and so just to put this in perspective, there are companies who don't make videos but still use the Facebook system. Companies that were making a couple $100 million a year. When they got the warning in January, some of them just laid everybody off and shut down because they knew it was done, right? One or two tried and just died on the way, like everybody was just dropping out. But I mean, like, so that's a really traumatic situation to go through because you got rent or mortgage or whatever have you, and now all your money is gone. But you just gotta hang in there and just work through it and try to figure out what the new system is, and then just try to make it work for you. And that can happen a lot because with each of these internet platforms, they're not designed to make you happy or help you to communicate better with your business. They're really designed to make money. And them making money don't necessarily mean that you will make money. That's really important to understand that. So once you get on the internet, you need to start thinking real carefully how you can get off and how you can try to monetize along the way as best as possible, because the money is not always going to be there. This ain't like the job where you are a teacher somewhere and then you go and be the husband or wife and then you'll buy a house and get a 30-year mortgage. With the internet, you ain't paying that 30-year mortgage. You're gonna be able to pay that like in a couple of years because things change so rapidly, you know. So survival is really hard, but you just gotta stick with it and think of how to make this work. Because whatever videos you're making today, I guarantee they're not gonna be working 6 months from now or next year. That's done. There's no one who's doing videos the same way today that they were doing it 5, 10 years ago. That's impossible to do. So that's just something to be like, you gotta be flexible, don't worry. Just try to figure out what comes next and be ready to go.
That's awesome. That's great for me, because I've recently gone into it. I was thinking I'll build it in 6 months and it's gonna be gone. Jeez.
It ain't gonna be gone, it's just gonna change.
It's gonna change.
It's just gonna change. Something's gonna change.
You gotta be super flexible.
Yeah. Like YouTube was just YouTube. Then YouTube come up with shorts to compete with TikTok. And Instagram come up with reels to compete with TikTok. And then, you know, Facebook, remember like everything used to be like just chronological, and then after that changed, and now you put stuff in your feed that you don't necessarily follow but they don't even look at, like all that matters. So like I said, on Facebook I have 30-something million people probably, right? But they don't necessarily see my videos because that ain't the way it works. You like the page, you want to see them, but that's not necessarily beneficial to Facebook making the most money. So they can feed them other stuff. So that 30 million look good, but they're not gonna see that, you know?
Man, that's great. Very, very informative, honestly, very informative.
Doc, what do you have to say about all those beautiful medical students that are out there? They don't have a lot of money, right? They're eating Vienna sausages, they're trying to get by in their classes. Some are in groups where they're the only black or the only female, and
Yeah, so that's the basic story in all of academia in this country. So you're talking about minority folks, and the problem is, if you're a black kid growing up and you're smart enough to get into medical school, and you're smart enough to go to a good training program, and you're looking at the choice: do I become a surgeon and make $500,000 a year, or do I go into the lab and bust my ass and do research and make $90,000 a year? It's a no-brainer. So to do hard academic research, and it's to a certain extent it's true in science feels the same thing. Becoming an academic is you have to be. It's a little bit crazy. You got to be a little bit crazy, and you need to be extremely lucky to find a mentor. And you know, one of the beautiful things about us folks from minority backgrounds, we know how to make people mentor us. Even if the person doesn't look like us, we know. You know, you guys were tennis pros. When you all were starting out, there was a lot of ash, basically. Y'all did not have mentors, and I'm sure that all of you had white mentors at some point, and you got what you needed to get from them. So it's the same thing in academia. Mentorship is key, and so. But the problem is when you come to that point, because one is busting your ass and making almost no money. Now, if you're lucky, you may discover a big discovery and become famous. But most of us are just slugging away, and you do it because it's interesting. You do it because you want to make a contribution. You want to make a contribution to science. So in terms of advice to the young folks, first of all, you got to be clear about what you're. So, for example, Roger's right. I clearly don't care about money. Otherwise, that's a decision. Yes, I come from a background. My old man was a doctor too, but a doctor in the Bahamas ain't like doctors over here.
No.
They don't make the kind of money that over here. And my dad he also didn't care about money, so it wasn't. So was it. So, but I got seduced into the research because of my brain. The teacher was telling me that the questions you are asking, you're a first year medical student, you're asking questions that are like off the scale. You should think about going into research, because this is not a typical medical student. So of course, you're at Yale, the professors tell you, you should get a PhD. You go, oh, okay. But it's not easy. And so when I was at Yale, I was pretty stubborn, and I picked a very sexy, difficult project, which required two advisors, and these two guys hated each other. And so I ended up falling through the cracks. I graduated with an MD, MSc, but I didn't actually get the PhD. So years later, I go to UCLA as a fellow, and I said, okay, well, I'm gonna get my PhD. So I did the PhD all over again.
Wow.
So I was hardcore, but reality comes. I basically got two little kids. I'm facing. You have to write grants, and the grant pays. If you get an R1 independent grant, the university gets $1 million. You get 90,000. Right? That's just happening.
Wow.
Right? And they don't care. Like if you don't get a grant, you're not really tenured. So as a scientist, you might be okay, but as an MD, PhD, they know as an MD you can go and make money. So they don't really care. If you don't get a grant, go make money. So that's what I'm doing now. Essentially, I do colonoscopies all day long, scoping. And luckily, I enjoy it. It's technically challenging. I get it. I'm into the process of it. But your question is a great one. I appreciate it in terms of trying to encourage the young kids. So when I was a medical student, I went to the undergraduate campus, and you'd think, Yale is the minority students at Yale. They're smart. But if you look at the statistics, many of them, when they first came in undergraduate, many of them, this applies to all of the elite schools. Many of them want to be doctors. And you hit that first chemistry midterm, poof! And then when it comes time to graduating 4 years later,
wow.
about 2% of them go to pre-med to actually succeed. So I used to speak to them. I used to go and give talks because I recognize there's a problem. It's fine. You wake up and my mom is trying to make me be a doctor, and I don't want to be a doctor. So that's a good reason not to be. You don't want to be a doctor because your mom wants to. However, if you really want to do it, and then you get that first chemistry midterm, and you get rocked, that's a problem. And so I would have to explain to them, look, your high school is in the Bronx, or your high school is in Compton. Your high school chemistry sucks. So you're coming into the first midterm of chemistry. Your background is nothing like these other white kids who are coming from the fancy school. They've seen that before. You're seeing it for the first time. You're not stupid. They just done it. Their background is much better than yours. You need to work harder. Right? I'm saying, I'm like, you know, so I would break it down and say, this is how you need to study. You know, and I rescued quite a few people along the way.
You know, Doc, so, but I think I speak for probably 90% of the Afro-American men that are out there, or 99%, we don't have that gift of reading and learning. And, you know, what could you, because you have a speech impediment. So we have, you know, I didn't have a speech impediment. I could articulate beautifully. So that was my connection to people,
Right.
you know, to open doors for me, my social graces, so to speak. But
Adrien, not mean to jump in,
No.
but just tell them what it is and like why your voice is the way it is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so the condition is called spasmodic dysphonia, and it's kind of a neurological condition. So the nerves that go into the muscles of my voice box. So normally when you speak, the muscles have to relax and contract in a nice flowing line. In the middle of the word, the muscle spasms, and when it spasms, the sound stops. So in the middle, you notice in the middle half the words, the sound kind of drops out because, and it's very similar to stuttering. So people who stutter, instead of the muscle of the larynx being tight, it's the muscle of the tongue. So they're trying to talk, and the tongue, when they're trying to talk, the tongue so spasmodic dysphonia and stuttering are very connected. When I was a kid, they sent me to all kind of speech therapy, and you know, and because the more nervous you are, the worse it gets. So that one thing was pretty good.
Well, you know, Doc, when you came in and I met you,
You thought it was an accent.
I said, that's the way the Bohemians talk. Okay? So I ain't had no problem, and there was I understood every word you say, but I thought that was a troll, you know? So, more power to you, Doc. And you know what? I'm really impressed by what you accomplished. You know, just listening to you. Both you guys, because you're in different fields, and one doesn't make it better than the other, but, you know, I'm impressed. I'm impressed by, you know, brothers out there just striving to create yourself, and also for you to work on your craft and still continue to keep going and to talk to kids or mentor people. I think it's great. And even the way you were talking. So, but there's other people out there that are hearing this, that has that you're going to touch them, you know. And there's other folks out there that's going to be mixing drinks in the bathroom, toilet, you know. So we got it all. But you know what? Something happened today. And I got to say, y'all Bohemians, man. Y'all Bohemians, y'all did something wrong today. Okay, I'm going to tell you, all three of y'all.
I had nothing to do with that. I was just watching.
No. You in it. You involved. You're everything that happened. Okay? That's why you're sitting in between the two. Okay? Y'all put Troy and I in the middle and had us make some drinks. Okay? Now, I mean, we make them like they're like college drinks, right? We're not jungles. We're not experiencing all the other. But y'all were doing the beat.
we didn't have access to coconuts.
The coconut, yeah, they took the item. They took the item off. Gave us the stuff that we have here, you know. But y'all, like that was a setup.
That's how we roll in the Bahamas.
No, we don't set people up. You don't set us up. You set you up.
Time's up.
Oh!
Time's up. All right. So you can point drinking now.
20 drinks, okay?
20 drinks and double water.
Watch this, but
So how was this?
Super stressful.
Okay, yeah, I see why I didn't lime juice. I haven't seen that one. Actually, there's lemon juice, okay? Okay, all
Are we
right.
supposed to drink it?
no.
No, not yet. You get to drink it.
Okay.
How was it?
You know what? Mine was quite simple, but I don't know what it's gonna taste like.
It looked good though.
You didn't try it?
Hey man,
It red. It looks good.
I tried it, but I had to do it again.
Troy, how was it, Troy?
I have a drinker's drink, so I can't lose.
I know that's heavy handed.
Roger, how was it?
Look here. Being from the Bahamas,
Uh-huh.
this is strictly for the tourists.
Uh-huh.
Okay? The tourists gonna love it because I gotta promote tourism in the Bahamas.
I can't lay them out too much, but it can not taste.
Okay, that sounds good, but that doesn't mean that's the winning drink.
That's a
Let him know. Yeah. Did you pour him?
So I sampling this now?
Oh, I'm supposed to get
Yeah. So a sample now.
All right, this is the pina colada, all right?
Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Now you gotta eat a cracker to get that taste out of your mouth each time.
Yeah, because by the time you get here,
This is interesting, because I would have gone a different direction, but he loved it.
Do we get the
Yeah,
taste?
yeah, it's
Wait,
good.
I mean, it has that.
What you give it?
It has a hint, you know what I'm saying? But I like that.
Like a head of goodness or a head of which one?
A hint of both.
A head of both, okay.
Depending on how you feeling.
Good. Okay, I love it, all right?
The key is because one of the most difficult things, particularly if you're worried or other people think about you, or you're not smart and whatever, is you have to get a blank piece of paper and you have to face the problems head on. So if there's 100 questions on physiology.
Yeah.
You gotta start at number 1. And you're gonna answer the question. And if you don't know, if you're guessing, it's wrong.
Yeah.
And you go through 100 questions, and only the questions that you mark them. But what they were doing is they were looking at the questions. They had the thing, the answers in the back of the book. So they're looking at the question and they look at the answer. Oh yeah, I knew that. And I'm like, no, you gotta face the question. Do not look at the answer. You have to suck it up.
Yeah.
And if you get 5 right out of 100, you got 5 out of 100. But you need to know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And one of the most difficult things with these students, they were studying some of this stuff over and over again. I'm like, look, if you get 98 of the questions right, move on to the next topic.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you get 5 right, I mean you need to spend time on this topic. But they were so afraid to actually see the limitation of their knowledge.
And so you're talking about your peers.
Yeah, my peers.
favorite Bahamian dish.
Come.
Crack on.
Crack on, warm it up.
You went to Bahamas?
Mine is conch salad.
Tongue salad. Terry's the only one that hasn't been
Crack on.
to the
Wait a minute.
But
Wait a minute. I've been on another island. Now,
Don't say it.
Wait.
That
I
ain't
know
right.
this is rapid. But who got dropped off first? It's Jamaican. You don't know about getting dropped off first? You know this color right here? You got dropped off.
In college, I was really
let's keep going. Errol, famous Bahamian dish. Let's stay.
Okay, go ahead.
Famous Bahamian dish. Conch salad. Conch salad. Favorite Bahamian group?
Group.
Yes.
One family.
One family.
You talking jump?
Anything. Favorite
Just
Bahamian
got
group.
paid.
Could be singles.
Saturday night.
Oh, bro, I mean, if it's Jungle, it can be like the Pigs back when Chippy was there. If you're talking music, I can go Bahamian.
Bahamian. Famous Bahamian fruit. Tipsy.
Man, I got a couple though. So obviously, mango, connect, dilly. That's all I can think of for sour salt. Man, because I live here now, so I ain't tasted any of these in a while, you know. So any one of them I can roll with.
That's
Mango scarlet plum.
Oh, the plum! Oh my God! Yeah.
Yeah, man, I always miss sugar cane.
You can't
I
do
like cane too.
mine is sugar.
Sugar.
Oh Lord, them too.
Sugar. Okay. Again, this is a trivia. Who owned the Bahamas before the British?
Yeah, well, Columbus was there.
Okay. What year did the Bahamas get its independence?
73. What do you mean? You want to know that?
I was 11 years old. 10 years old then.
1973. Yeah, 73. 50 years. Just to the matter. Yeah.
So listen, okay, here's the second part of it. We're gonna talk about some Bahamian slang. Quickly tell me what it means.
Okay.
Back up.
Back up.
Move away from
Back
me.
up.
Move away. Gotcha.
What the
Sure.
slang?
Hey,
Back up.
back up. To move away.
No, I love it. I love it.
Listen. Children.
Children.
Cut eye. Cut eye.
When you roll the eye at someone, so it's like when you do the other girl, like she's rolling the eyes at you, like you know, like yeah, you cut the eye.
To give someone a dirty.
Gotcha.
Earl. What does Earl mean?
There's something to put in the car.
Yeah.
Oil.
You didn't even say it right. You've been going too long. Earl.
Oh, you put Earl in your car? That's Earl.
You put Earl in the car.
That's Earl. That's it, Earl.
And then boil water.
Blue water, exactly.
Boil water. Yeah.
What is full? What do you put that?
Tin foil.
What you put on? Yeah.
Got.
Half.
Okay. Jump. Gumada.
Give me one.
Gumada. Okay. Mussy.
Must be.
Perfect. Gramalicious.
Greedy.
What is place? Jama.
Crowded.
Boy, don't joke me, boy.
Stop. I took him up.
But it's all Capone Club.
On that stuff. On that stuff. Yeah.
Drunk.
Oh, okay.
Right. Mother second. What that mean?
That's the safe way to say it. Mother F.
And instead of excitement.
Yeah.
But you ain't got no brought up seat.
No upbringing, no proper upbringing. Yeah.
Nah,
You kind of ratchet.
Sip.
Gossip. Yeah.
Oh shit. Got a juice. I wait the gun as gin and coconut water, but what's the slam bomb?
Slam on is bread and sausage, yeah, with some cheese on it. No mayonnaise or nothing, it's just very good. Yeah.
Bread and sausage, but you got a sweet eye.
You got it.
A chick on the side, that's the side chick. Your sweetheart is the side chick.
Tingle.
That boy over there, like, take him down. You know it's there, so take him.
That's a common word. You know.
You are.
Yeah.
Duh.
The boy? You mean like
Yeah, the boy.
The boy, yeah.
Okay.
Where you getting this from?
What Jones are mean?
Crackhead. My boy is a Jones, you see, I buy this TV from a Jones.
Hey, you don't hear this too often. Soda bottle. What's a soda bottle?
The bottle of the soda used to come in. Or you talking like Chiamas, like a Coca-Cola shape, you know, that's how we use it directly. That's like, ladies, if you shape like a Coca-Cola bottle, then you know.
Give me a little bit, man, a little bit.
Let me taste it, kind of.
Boomsy.
Boopsie, that's a Jamaican expression, though.
They use that, man.
Yeah, but that's someone who support you financially,
But
right?
what does it mean?
That's like my boopsie. You might know the song.
Yeah. Boomsy.
You mean boopsie?
I don't know.
Boomsy, buddy.
I don't know.
In your face.
Oh, I know what that
They're
one.
playing cards and they're playing dominoes. Boomsy, buddy.
Oh, I know
In your
what that
face.
one. I know what that one.
Wait,
I know
no,
boopsie, like, you know.
Not
Boopsie.
boomsy.
You know what I mean?
Boopsy.
Yeah, boopsie. I know what boopsie means. Okay, but anyway, go ahead.
Alright. Chief.
That's like boss, like, hey, chief, let me see this man. Chief, boss. Chief, come here.
Yeah. Buddy.
Oh, boy is like, boy.
Yeah.
Look at my boy.
Yeah. Boss man.
That's
Same thing.
He's called the other time.
Yeah, same thing like chief, boss man.
Hey. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Alright. What you say, man?
what it is. You even leave off one of the best ones, boy. Like, what is yuck? Why he yucked that from him?
You take that from him, you grab that from him.
Yeah. Why he yucked that on the boy hand? Yeah.
Go on, give me some more. Go on.
That's a good one.
Then you gotta string it together. My boy, look here, come here, boy, before I yuck that thing from me, boy. You and your little old me jungle, sweetheart.
She's junglist, but
She even look good, boy. But that girl next to you, man, that girl solid. When that girl been like a brick house. She got bogey for this. That girl got a big bongy, boy?
yeah, bongy. What bongy is? What's bongy?
Backside, what is your
What's the
butt?
backside?
Your butt. Okay, bongy is your butt. So if a dude come, you say, man, you got a big bongy, you know, don't be a tourist and be like, oh, thank you.
All right, yeah. Bahamian men are more attracted to big bongies or small bongies.
Probably bigger bongy.
You know that, man.
No, definitely. No question.
No question, buddy. They don't like your skinny woman. Hey, listen, man. I just want to thank my fellow Bahamians. Thank you so much for joining us on this podcast. Thank you so much for your busy time. You're very successful. I'm so proud to have you here. Hey, Tipsy Bartender, I really appreciate your time.
Thank you, man.
Truly enjoyed it.
All right, I see.
My doubles partner, Adrien Lunn, Dr. Adrien, thank you so much. And we're going to just finish and close with some Bahamian drumming here from Dr. Adrien. Thank you so much.